Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wasn't asked why I'm convinced. Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Howdy people, how are we doing? I'm sorry that we weren't live at 5 today. You know, sometimes there are unexpected things in life that crop up that you have to deal with. But I was itching to do a show because there was so much going on today. Like literally never a dull moment in crypto. Literally it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get real crazy real soon. So let's just jump straight into it because there was just too much gossip to get through today. It's been great fun. Let's start with this one. This has sent so many people into a tailspin, and I've got this douchebag blocked. He said BTC is not Bitcoin, but it's now too big to fail. Again, I think this guy is just like a BSV, troll, spy troll, whatever. I've had him blocked for ages. But in this post here, Craig had said, I am not interested in crashing BTC. So basically all those dirty shitcoin traders that just simply bet on Craig for those rolling iceberg orders, hoping that they were going to cash out some big fat wads at the end of it, because again, just simply worshipping filthy fiat and dirty dollars, now they feel like they've been screwed. Well, you should be following Bitcoin. If people understood the paradox of the centralized starting point, they would understand there is no choice. There is no choice. It can only be Bitcoin. So who gives a monkeys if iceberg rolling orders are coming or not? It's not about filthy fiat accumulating. It's about Bitcoin. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really too impressed with those rolling iceberg statements anyway, because I was just like, if he does that and people, lose billions, do you know what I mean? It's not a clever idea, to be honest with you. So I'm much more confident on this now, and that would be blatant market manipulation, whereas now personally I think, reading between the lines here, and also because obviously I know I've been keeping my ear to the grindstone, I know what's coming in terms of businesses coming on chain, BTC will just simply implode. It does 7 transactions a second. That's a joke. People getting all upset about it. Like, you need to understand, BTC is fundamentally worthless and technically useless. Literally, you know. So why tank something that is just so blatantly shit? Like, it's gonna implode. Like, even if you're a shitcoin with shit for brains, like, there is a limit, surely. You know, although I have been surprised, you know, as to how stupid you could be. You know, yeah. So have a quick read through this. So he said, I'm not interested in crashing BTC, nor can I legally do so. Or say legally, I can't legally do so, but I mean, Blockstream illegally took over control of the network and are passing off BTC as Bitcoin. So that's illegal. So he's saying, nor can I legally do so. It doesn't mean that he couldn't economically do so and illegally do so. He could wipe it off the face of the planet like tomorrow. But sounds to me like he's like, yeah, don't need to anymore. So what's the point in risking things? He says, I hold considerable value through companies that I'm an executive in. These companies have holdings that exceed anything else on the market. Wow. I mean, it's just huge, you know. But like, talking about huge, we'll do a comparison of like people's minds and their idea of size, like in a minute. The law on trading requires that an investor holding more than 5% market share in anything is required to make actions public. Any actions I make will need to be public. As much as a fool around at times, I take my role as a director of companies, as a company executive, and as fiduciary for organizations very seriously. My company's value in BTC and other assets will enable us to build and invest in far more. When you talk about crashing markets, remember that there are people who have their life savings. As much as you may not like all of what BTC is doing, and I don't like some of these things myself, you cannot merely treat individuals who have invested in something as game pieces. Yeah, you know, I mean, some people are in it, some people are innocent. Some people are shitcoiners with shit for brains. Do they honestly deserve, you know, to have their life savings taken away from them when they've been listening to, you know, these nefarious shitcoiners, you know, who have literally actually been telling them a load of crap, you know, lying through their teeth, like, you know, Charlie Lee and Andreas Antonopoulos and, you know, Jimmy Song and Samson Mao, you know, Peter McCormack actually believes the shit because he's that dumb. But it's hilarious. So he's writing what he's saying here. But I'm amazed at how much of a tailspin it sent some people into. Like, seriously. But and again, I was kind of like gonna touch on this, I guess. I mean, I know there aren't too many people that listen to my show, so maybe it's all right to say this. But like, imagine it's like this. We here in Bitcoin, BSV, are literally going to be like the financial elite of the world. Now imagine you get a shitcoiner with shit for brains like Roger Ver, Peter McCormack, you know, being worth billions each. It's dangerous to have stupid people like that with that much money. You know, they need to be shaken out. And that goes for shitcoiners who don't really understand Bitcoin, that were just simply betting on Craig and his rolling iceberg orders, you know, in the hope that they'll just simply cash out to dirty dollars. They do not understand Bitcoin. You know, it's dangerous for them to have that much money because they don't have the intellectual capacity to actually comprehend it. They will end up doing something stupid. It's corporations first. Corporations are going to pile in, but it's corporations that basically run the world for everybody. So it's fine to make corporations richer because corporations are businesses. They provide wealth for other people. They provide goods and services to make other people's lives better. And when they become wealthier, you know, in Bitcoin, it means that they can provide services for more people at a cheaper cost. You know, people complain about corporations at the moment doing what they do and taking up resources, but really that's a fault with money. It's money that makes corporations do that because money doesn't work. This ridiculous fiat currency that we're using, that's printed into infinity, that drives businesses into the ground, you know, you end up with that, elite, and people are like, oh, the corporations of the world are, making all these billions of dollars and I'm struggling to pay my bills. Well, it's not the corporation's fault. It's a fault with money. And Bitcoin fixes this. And corporations have an incentive to grow and expand and provide even more value in Bitcoin themselves by getting more people into it. Because the larger the market, the more value Bitcoin gets. And that's what these corporations do. So these like ridiculously small-minded shitcoiners with shit for brains effectively need to be shaken out, so that they don't have this power that will just turn them into complete egomaniacs. Really, and this is a good way of doing it. So, in terms of small-minded, Art Soon on Chain said, "What goes around comes around. Good luck, Craig." So I'm assuming that's like a snide comment at Craig, which is a bit stupid if you ask me. In relation to this letter, again, BTC, a shitcoiner, calls himself BTC Danny. So, in this letter here. They said they've written here to Craig's solicitors, Ontario LLP. They say, "Dear Counsel, re the 79,957 BTC, BCH, BCH, ABC, BSV." Says this law firm represents Mr. Danny Brewster. Our client is a victim of the 2011-2013 hack of the Mt. Gox Bitcoin exchange. According to an independent security auditor, YSEC, Mt. Gox's hot wallet was completely drained to the Bitcoin wallet at the following Bitcoin address: the 1FX V6B, whatever one, the 1FX address, in a single transaction on March 3rd, 2011. This information has since been publicly confirmed in writing by Mark Capellis, Mt. Gox's CEO. In a letter you sent on behalf of your client, Tulip Trading Limited, on June 2020, the June 2020 letter, you state that your client, Tulip, owns the unspent Bitcoin in the 1FX address. Your letter further states that the 1FX address contains 79,957 BTC with a sterling equivalent value of approximately 609 million. You assert that those funds were stolen from from Craig Wright on or around the 5th of February 2020. Access to and control over those addresses was stolen during a hack on Dr. Wright's. I guess carry on with this. Computer network. The private keys to those addresses were stored in an encrypted file on that network, as was part of the information required to open that file. Both the encrypted file and the related information were stolen during the hack and deleted from the network. We know that despite the keys having been stolen, the coins have not moved. We understand that in a letter dated 24th of February 2021, you sent a further email to developers of Bitcoin, BTC, as well as developers of Bitcoin forks, including BCH, ABC, and BSV. In the February 2021 letter, your law firm reiterated the facts first stated in the June 2020 letter. You wrote that Tulip Trading has undisputed ownership of the unsplit digital assets in the 1FX address. You state that on or around the 5th of February 2020, unknown hackers stole the private keys for the addresses and deleted copies of the keys on Dr. Craig Wright's computer, preventing him from accessing the digital assets at those addresses, which he operated on behalf of Tulip Trust Limited. According to Tulip Trust Trading Limited, absent steps being taken by the developers, unable to access or control digital assets that are Tulip Trust Limited's legal property. You and your clients, Tulip Trading Limited and Craig Stephen Wright and their agents, are hereby placed on notice that our client and many others similarly situated have an equitable interest in the Bitcoin held at the 1FX addresses in an amount not less than and likely exceeding 17,500,000. Your client owes our client and likely others a legal and equitable duty to hold any funds received by your client on either the BTC main chain or any fork or the Bitcoin chain, including BCH, BCH, ABC, and BSV, and constructive trust for our client and others similarly situated. Our client's rights, including but not limited to the right to seek an asset prevention order and to bring a suit against your client for conversions, as well as any and all other legal equitable claims, are fully and expressly reserved, whether in the United Kingdom, the United States, or in any other applicable jurisdiction. Additionally, this will serve as a formal notice to your client and it's their agent of its duty to prevent all evidence relating to this dispute, including but not limited to email, social media posts, electronic chat communication, and other electronically stored information. Failure to comply with this obligation will result in a severe sanctions associated with and arising out of spoliation of evidence. We trust that you have and will advise your client accordingly. The above notwithstanding, if your client is not in fact the owner of the Bitcoin in this 1FX address, our client has rather less to quarrel about with you and may be willing to adopt a more conciliatory attitude in this manner. If your client does not own the Bitcoin in the 1FX, and then it concludes here, address, and can confirm it has never had control over that address, please advise of same so that we may avoid any unnecessary litigation. I mean, so basically, RSMJ, what goes around comes around. It's just all this guy is doing is saying, look, if you get your coins back, my coins are in there as well, and there's about 17 million of them, so that's fine. I mean, this literally, you know, the level of intellect in this space just baffles me. So it's just not good for people like that to have a lot of money because they are stupid. You know, and I've also said here, like, what do you mean what goes around comes around? Good luck, Craig. First, his name is pronounced and spelt Craig. Second, CSW is suing for over like 4 billion. And D. Brewster is only after less than 0.4 of what might rightfully be his. My question is, what point are you trying to make? Like, seriously, like, what point are you trying to make? Like, you know, jeepers. So anyway, I mean, that's obviously put the cat amongst the pigeons today, which has been great fun looking at. In fact, let me just have a quick look at my profile here. I've also been making conclusion videos today for my shows because I'm trying to get everybody, you know, using the media platforms because they need to understand that, you know, nothing is free. If it's free, you are the product and you're giving away your data. These large corporations are tracking you and selling your data. You know, do you really want that when if you enjoy a service, you need to pay for it so that the company then doesn't have to sell all the details that they store about you and effectively track you. You know, so when you realize that that's actually what's going on behind the scenes, then I think people would actually have a preference for just simply using a platform and paying for it as they see fit. That's it really. But again, you know, it's a case of having to see past it, you know, or having, you know, seeing past the Indian nose. It was good to see ZDNet writing articles on this very topic of the $3.5 billion lawsuit that CSW is trying to recover because they've obviously get loads of followers, so more exposure. But CoinGeek has just written this, or shall I say John Souther. So let's have a quick look at this. I'm going to take that down. So, suing developers, Mt. Gox connection, and other misinformation follow Craig Wright's illegal notices. All right, let's see what it says then. Much misinformation has floated around the internet in wake of Dr. Craig S. Wright's letters before action to Bitcoin and its related forks, protocol developers. One is the unproven claim that BTC in one of Dr. Wright's wallets was connected to the theft from defunct exchange Mt. Gox before it shut down in 2014. That claim has already resulted in another threat of legal action against Dr. Wright on behalf of BTC entrepreneur Danny Brewster, who claims to have lost BTC in the Mt. Gox hack. What Dr. Wright's letters are and aren't. So, the letters sent on Dr. Wright's behalf warned developers that he is moving to establish legal ownership and enforcement recovery of BTC stolen from his computer in 2020. Should a court decide in Wright's favour, developers would be legally compelled to take action to assist in the recovery of those coins. The notion that the blockchain developers have the ability to recover or assist in the recovery of stolen coins has prompted a large backlash online due to the misconception that it is impossible for them to do so. Yeah, because they are decentralized, in quotes there, which we all know they're not. It's just a facade that they like to spin. Honestly, the walls of bullshit are coming down. Several new outlets, including longtime industry journal CoinDesk, claimed developers would need to hand over the keys to lost BTC and that it would require the multi-million, if not billion-dollar endeavor of reorganizing Bitcoin's blockchain history with a 51% attack to recover the coins. Neither of these claims is true. Bitcoin is a ledger that uses triple entry accounting. Additionally, Dr. Wright is not suing developers, as many headlines and tweets across the BTC sphere have claimed and repeated. Developers themselves are not liable to pay damages to Dr. Wright and would only face problems if they refuse to obey a court order. He has claimed in the past that, in the event of large theft, developers could broadcast a message to transaction processors or miners, notifying them to freeze UTXOs related to the stolen coins. This would render them unmovable until their legal owners were identified, upon which the UTXOs could be reassigned to the owner's address. See, that makes so much more sense. That is so much more logical and rational and reasonable already. Rather than representing a threat to Bitcoin and its forks, a legal recovery process would actually make these networks more secure and attractive to large enterprise and institutional investors. Yeah, exactly. It's the right word. Legal recourse. The type Bitcoiners have been courting for years in hope it would increase the value of both their coins and the networks themselves. Resisting such a move would appear counter to BTC's interests in gaining mainstream appeal, and brings into question the motives of those who wouldn't want such actions enforced. Would they prefer to see stolen BTC stay stolen without redress? Exactly. Good question. Good point. Well made. Brewster's letter. Today's letter from Danny Brewster warning Dr. Wright of legal action came from Anderson Kill PC, a law firm with a history of representing clients in cases against Wright. The letter claims Brewster and others have equitable interest in the BTC contained in an address commonly known as the 1FX address from its first 5 characters. Attorneys Preston Brine and Peter Pally claimed in the letter that independent security auditors WiSec found that Mt. Gox's hot wallet was completely drained to the 1FX address in March 2011 and warned Wright to retain all evidence regarding that address in case further action was warranted. Yeah, which we've just been through. Would have been easier to look at that. WiSec, a Tokyo-based IT security firm that has performed forensic analysis on publicly available data, pertained to the Mt. Gox affair. Brewster was the founder of an early attempt at a Bitcoin bank called Neo and B, based in Cyprus, that collapsed amid controversy in 2014. Dr. Wright has made a previous statement that the BTC and the 1FX address do belong to a company connected with him, but were purchased legitimately from a Russian exchange as an OTC exchange from Liberty Reserve dollars on March 1st, 2011. He said that there have been no claims by Mt. Gox liquidators or regulatory investigators that the 1FX address was involved in the Mt. Gox hack, and no authorities have requested any information on the matter from Dr. Wright over the years. Nevertheless, Brewster's tweet about the letters prompted pile-on of congratulatory replies from BTC and blockchain supporters. They suggest few in the Bitcoin community have any understanding of what's really going on here or what is even realistically possible. Brewster's claim was echoed by none other than disgraced CEO of Mt. Gox himself, Mark Capellis, who said it meant Dr. Wright's claim was fraudulent. Oh dear, oh dear. Do you see what I mean about shitcoiners with shit for brains? Dear, oh dear. Since Dr. Wright, as CEO, admits to Tulip Trading Limited owning in some way the 1FX address and purchasing the BTC in it from a Russian exchange, Capellis' suggestion indicates the funds were stolen before moving to that address. An odd claim. Yeah, might have put his foot in it there. Capellis was detained in Japan without trial for a year after the Mt. Gox fiasco and eventually charged with and convicted of data manipulation surrounding the hack. Dr. Wright has alleged in the past that Capellis himself was responsible for the missing 650,000 BTC, or that his actions allowed the theft to take place. Mark Capellis trying to chuck mud there then. Oh dear. I know if I was a betting man, I know who I'd bet my money on. That'd be CSW, because he knows more about Bitcoin than anyone because he created it. A sad reflection on BTC and the blockchain industry. The various responses to Dr. Wright's latest actions show how quickly misinformation can spread online and how readily it is accepted as fact by an uncritical audience that either doesn't understand Bitcoin or is interested only in attacking Wright and the movement he represents. Their repetition of factually incorrect and misguided and irrelevant material represents instead more of a misinformed rabble than serious commentators. Their immediate dismissal of any statement by Dr. Wright or cheerleading of any claim or action against him without even the slightest attempt to clarify the facts damage the blockchain industry's reputation. Yeah, it does. Bunch of douchebags in here. But again, douchebags and shitcoins. Even those who are better informed of the issue, both legal and technical, have participated in this mob behaviour, though chose their exact words more carefully. While they are also capable of being misguided, they are also among them who are clearly worried and panicking with their own political and legal motives for attacking Dr. Wright's reputation. Whether you believe or agree with everything Dr. Wright has said over the years is unimportant. He clearly has a deeper understanding of Bitcoin and its surrounding issues than most. The only way to have an educated opinion is to read all the material available, including that written and represented by Dr. Wright, before making an objective judgment. Unfortunately, most out there have clearly not done this. Yeah, cause shitcoiners shit for brains. Oh dear. So it's that was a really good article, that one actually. That was really good. Loved it. I haven't had a quick look at the graphs yet. Coin dance. Let's have a look at this. See what's going on. I know it's late, so I just want to run through all the block sizes. Look at this, 52.8, more than half their network. Just looking at the biggest block on Bcrush quickly. 6.5. Is that it? Probably, yeah. And would you believe it? BTC still the same. And here we have on Bitcoin, 4.7, 5.3, 8.2 from Tal, as you'd expect. Look at these juicy blocks here. Another 8.3 from Tal. Ooh, all this data flowing through on chain. Let's just get to the bit we're really interested in, which is the mining. This is where all the politics lie. Core coin, the Tal. Tal is not on there. Not bothered about shitcoins. Right, let's see what's going on Bitcoin. Tal have taken over top spot from Hathor with 38.89%. Good to see Mempool Norpool there. BTC.com still on there, but only a small amount. Same with via BTC. F2 Pool increasing their share a little bit. Huobi. This looks odd. Maybe it's the colour just making it look like it's larger. But Huobi down to 3.4. Dutch mining, and good to see Matterpool on there. Other mining pools with 5.5. All right. So let's just have a quick look at the overall hash rate 24. What's Tal got? Tal down to 0.09. Is that because so the hash rate's only 0.03, so I'm assuming that's other hash rate being piled in on Coolcoin, I would probably suspect. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin blocks live. See what is going down. 6.8 transactions per second. Up to 7 now, 8. Is that going to get to 14? 9. What's going up? Do I have 10? Do we have 10 transactions a second? Up to 14. That looks like it's around 10. Alright, and look at all these juicy blocks. Look at all this data flowing through the chain. Loving that. Loving that. Let's have a look at the charts. Whoa, look at that. So I'm just calling it D app. Now having done 6.8 million transactions. So it's basically almost like it's doing more than 1 million transactions a day. So where are we now? 25th. So that was 11 days. So over 11 days, this one app has done, is that right? So it started on the 14th and now the 25th. So yeah, 11 days. It's done 6.7 million transactions in 11 days. So like 500,000 transactions a day. But again, like no one really knows what it is yet. They're purposely hiding who they are because, well, I mean, I guess they're related to router SV, because it's router SV that's here when it says apps ranking by performed action. So I assume they're coming from router SV. People loving all the political turmoil today. TDXP app doing well. But these transactions are not showing on BitInfo charts. So even if we go to charts, I mean, look, if we look at transactions 24 hours, average transaction. Yes, I mean, look, average transactions last 24 hours. So Bitcoin is the green. So look, this is so according to BitInfo charts, BSV has only got 7.6% of the transactions on the overall crypto metric, which is bollocks. because that D app, whatever it is absolutely macking it, but you can't see it here, and it's not reflected in the charts either. So if you go transactions, I mean average transactions per hour, average transactions 24 hours, 3 years, and the log graph. Look, it's not showing. Those transactions are not showing. And as I posted out earlier, the Bitcoin scaling test network. Look at this, new highs. Look, 14,000 transactions per second. And remember, what Visa and MasterCard are only capable of what, like 2,000 transactions a second, 1,700 transactions a second. This is 14,000, and we're going for gigabyte blocks on the mainnet on Saturday, March 13th, I think. Gonna be huge. Gonna be huge. Just seeing a few people in the chat box. I did see you there to start with. Diddy, thanks for joining. JPaps as well. Costa Cats. And JP has put a link here. What's this? Kitco.com news. Why Bitcoin will death spiral to zero. And Fed Chair Powell is delusional. Wow. Can you send that to me on Twitter or on Twitch? That would be great, so we can open it up. I'll see if I can find it anyway. So kitco.com news. Let's see if we can find that one. Kitco.com news. See what Google finds for us. News. Fed Chair Powell. Fed Chair Powell. Let's see what comes up. Is this the one? Oh no, they're videos. Is this the one? Oh, why Bitcoin will death spiral. Just saw that. There we go. Ha! Oh dear, oh dear. Right, okay, so quick one. It's only a matter of time before Bitcoin death spirals down to its true intrinsic value, which is 0, says Steve Hankey, professor of applied economics at Johns Hopkins University. Yeah, because BTC doesn't have any utility. It's literally worthless. Fundamentally worthless and technically useless. So not really, hasn't really got too much going for it. What's the fundamental value of Coolcoin? The fundamental value is 0, Hankey says. The flow of income generated by Bitcoin is 0. Exactly, there's no dividend. You know, it doesn't offer you any equity. It's not like money. Money, broadly defined, most fiat monies have a fundamental value because they pay interest. If you look at the 14 components of M4, that's the broadest measure of money in the United States. 10 of those components, like treasury bills, pay interest. Bitcoin doesn't pay interest. Speaking on Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's testimony to Congress this week, Hankey doesn't agree with Powell's remarks that the growth of the money supply would not contribute to economic expansion or inflation. Powell in his testimony had said that there was a time when monetary policy aggregates were important determinants of inflation, and that has not been the case for a long time. Adding that the correlation between different aggregates like M2 and inflation is just very, very low, and you see that now where inflation is at 1.4% for this year. Chairman Powell is clearly delusional. I can't believe the chairman of a central bank actually said that, Hankey said. Broad money measures are linked very closely to nominal GDP, gross domestic product, and nominal GDP includes real economic growth plus inflation. Yeah, I mean, again, these people are absolutely clueless in their understanding of Bitcoin, like seriously clueless about it. And talking about people that are clueless of their understanding of Bitcoin, I'm literally just going to do my favourite part of the show now and find the video before we conclude. So actually, it's in my Twitter profile. Close that. Here we go. I know I sent this to myself. I'll have to find the bit. Oh, what's this? More gossip. Cobra shaking in fear. Huh. Yeah, he probably will be. Let's have a look. So we'll leave it here for the YouTube trailer. I don't know. Whatever. I can't be asked to listen to that guy. I mean, that comment there was just so ridiculous. Literally, he's just like, oh, the banks are just simply going to inflate it like they do with a fiat currency. He has no idea about blockchain technology. You know, the data flows through the chain. It's the data flowing through the chain that makes it immutable. And that's why people are going to be buying Bitcoin, because it gives us data sovereignty over our data. He's literally just, I mean, barking up the wrong tree. It doesn't even come close to how far away he is with a comment like that. Yeah, absolutely insane. And who is this guy? Garrett Goggin. I've heard that name before in relation to Bitcoin. I mean, let's see how long he's been in it, shall we? This will be an eye-opener after making a comment like that. Faux pas. So he's worked as a trader for derivatives arbitrage group in the UK and Ireland. Garrett's been working for blah 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 blah. What's this? Stock analyst. So he's looking at it like it's a stock and money. Like, honestly, it's hilarious. So it looks like he's just like an analyst. Yeah, he's just FCA analyst at a gold stocks analyst. I was wondering if that's the same one. Yeah, I mean, what he's just said there is insane. It just makes no sense whatsoever, you know. And he's come out saying that publicly. I mean, just, you know, you couldn't make it up, honestly. But anyway, I've been going for 40 minutes. A shout out to everyone in the chat box. Diddy, JP from Canada, Costa Cats, and yeah, what's this? Any updates? One Peter McCormack. Yeah, I haven't seen any updates on that just yet, but it's 9 o'clock and I need to give my voice a rest. So yeah, we'll be live at 5 tomorrow, peeps, because got everything done today and out of the way, needed to be done. So yeah, live at 5, and as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there. See you at 5 tomorrow. Catch you guys later. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. BuyBSV.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. Support independent content creators on micropayment platforms such as Streamanity, Twitch and Relica. We should profit from our data, not the large corporations who track and sell it. If you enjoy the Bitcoin content that I produce, please support me by heading over to www.satoshi.tv, where you can keep up to date with all the news, gossip and content as it's created. Thanks very much. To get started in Bitcoin, go to freebsv.com, where you can claim your free Bitcoin. Then head over to Twitter and follow @IamSatoshi to take part in his very generous and world famous free giveaways.